Hey, you right there. Say the N word. Say N-I-double-G-A. Go ahead and say it right now. Soft A, go ahead and say it. Don't say it hard R, just say it right now. Say it. Say it for me. Say it for me. Say it in the comfort of your home. I know you want to. You can think it. I know I got it in your head right now, so you can say the word. Go ahead. If you're black, you're white, you're Asian, you're Hispanic, you're Caucasian, whatever that may be, you're Persuasian, you're European, you're Vietnamese, you're Alaskan, you're Nicaraguan, whatever you are, you're from the South Indies, you're Laotian, you're Laotian, whatever you are, say the word right now. Say the word. I want you to say the word right now. Did you say it? Good. I'm happy you said it. I'm happy you got it out your system. If you didn't say it, why didn't you say it? Explain to me why you didn't say the word right there. I want you to explain to me in the comment section down below, because I want to talk about this word for 1 second. Now, before you get to calling me Uncle Tom, whether you call me raccoon, allegations, whatever it may be, I want to say something very important to you right quick. I'm going to give you my stance on this word. I think anybody can say it. Right? Anybody can say the word. However, now this is very important, the social ramifications of the word, you gotta deal with those. You gotta deal with those social ramifications. You gotta deal with what happens after that. You gotta deal with the anger, the vitriol, the years of oppression. You gotta deal with that anger that sits with the word. You are gonna get socially reprimanded. Now, legally, you're more than welcome to. As a matter of fact, legally, you may even argue to yourself, well, I'm 28 and the age of consent is 16, and you can legally get yourself out of that. Go crazy. You can do that all day, as a matter of fact. Go ahead, because legally, you might be in the right. I don't know. You're good. Legally, you can do this all the jargon you want to, but we're talking about social consequences. That's what we're talking about today. Now, if you're black, you may see a white man say the N-word, and you may want to hit him with the force of God. You may want to go all the way back to the beginning of Dragon Ball Z and hit him with the Kamehameha wave. Boom. You may want to smack him in the face, hit him with Gear 5th Luffy punch. Bow, Gear 2nd even. Who knows? It felt like it had more anger in Gear 2nd, but that's just me. I'm a big One Piece fan. Hit him with that powerful punch. You want to rewire his jaw, mess up his mandible, manifest the destiny inside your right fist. Bow, clock him. And then you get an assault charge. And what's an assault charge for a man saying the word he's not supposed to say? It'll teach him a lesson, because you grew up getting hurt. So naturally, you gotta hurt other people in order to make them learn lessons, because your dad told you not to put your hand on the stove. So you naturally gotta show the people what the fire does. And you bring the heat. Boom, mixtape status. Bow, knock his jaw off. This may be the most divisive word in human history. The N-word. I can say it with impunity. I can say it as much as I want to. I'm black. I can do whatever I feel like. My dad's black. He's from Barbados, and he grew up in New Orleans. He can do whatever he wants to. My mother is black and Arabic, so naturally, I already got a whole bunch of stuff going on in my genealogy. My DNA is all kind of corrupted and moved around. I can do whatever I feel like, but I got some important news for you. You can only say it if you're black. Much like if you're gay, you can say the F slur. That's right. Or if you are, I don't know, R slur, you can say the R slur. I'm not going to say the word because I don't know why this resurgence of the word is coming back up. I think it's not healthy to actively say it, but that's just me. You can call me a SJW as much as you want to. It just feels very not smart to bring up the word. So let's talk about it. I think there's a psychological itch in people's brains when something is forbidden. It has nothing to do with intelligence. Doesn't have anything to do with morality. As a matter of fact, it only has everything to do how human brains are wired to react to boundaries. Think of this for a moment. The moment a line is drawn, your brain lights up. Ooh, I gotta go over a line. It's a challenge, a curiosity. It's a pressure point that whispers, what happens if I cross this line? What happens? That same mechanism shows up in kids sneaking alcohol from cabinets they were told to ignore, and teens trying cigarettes behind school bleachers. I don't know if kids still do that anymore. I haven't been to school in a while. And adults feeling a weird, inexplicable pull towards words they are explicitly not told to say. Taboo does not erase desire. As a matter of fact, one could argue, one could contest. It sharpens it, makes the forbidden thing glow brighter in the mind. It's interesting. Why are all these black people allowed to say it? I want to say it. That's crazy. Pretending that prohibition alone is enough to kill curiosity only makes the pull feel more electric, more urgent, more impossible to ignore. The N-word. Oh, fun word. It's very fun. No other word like it in the English language, especially with the soft A. It sits at the center of this tension, a gravitational well that pulls conversation towards it, whether we want it to go there or not. It is one of the few words in modern language that carries both extreme historical violence and modern social power at the same exact time. A word that has been used to justify murder and also to greet friends on street corners. It's both at the same time. A word that holds centuries of pain and decades of reclamation in the same syllables. Same syllables. Soft A, hard R, both 2 syllables. That combination makes people wildly uncomfortable. Wildly uncomfortable. It resists easy categorization because we like slogans. We like easy things. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Complete lie, by the way. Want to point that out. It's just easy slogans for your mind. Carrots help your eyes. They don't. Carrots do not help your eyes. Don't know where that lie started. Actually, I do. It started in Britain when they needed to get rid of all the food and it was night outside and they needed people to eat carrots. See, these clean binaries that we have, we need to resist them all the time. For black people, the word exists inside of a lived context of history. Survival, its community, its shared understanding. It's what it is. It does not need to be justified to observers because it was never built for outside consumption in the first place. It was built in the space between, in the gaps where our wide eyes weren't watching, in the moments where survival requires something that belonged only to us. We needed something and it sucked because we didn't have anything. This gets into a very important context of a reclamation of slurs. For instance, the term a gypsy, right? That's a slur. As a matter of fact, when you say somebody gypped me on this, that is a slur. That is actively a slur. And many people are very upset when I use that word. I'm using it for historical context. It is important. Now, a white person could actively use the N-word for historical context. You could go crazy. As a matter of fact, there's a very popular video on YouTube right now. This is the video. Nigger in the moon. This guy's singing it. Actually, I'm not gonna lie, very banger of a song. He's very happy about it. He actually explains why he's making the song. It's so crazy, it's nuts. This guy is doing all this stuff to make all these songs. That's very important. But people could explain it away. Reclaiming a slur doesn't remove its history. That's important. That is the part where people miss when they reduce this to, well, if they can say it, why can't I? Huh? Reclamation redirects. That's what it does. It takes something that was used as a weapon, as a tool of dehumanization, as a word meant to remind you that your body is not your own, and we have turned it into a tool of familiarity, humor, anger, affection, or critique. Within the group, it was meant to harm. That is the beauty of reclamation. That reclamation works precisely because the people using it carry the weight of what it once meant. That's what it is. We carry it in our bones. That's how we do it. In our family stories. And the way our bodies react to certain sounds still. That weight changes how the word lands, how it sounds, how it functions in conversation, how it bonds or wounds. It is not the same word. Same letters, same syllables, but not the same word. Because words are not just sounds. Words are the history compressed into air, going through the follicles in the sky, reverberating into the sound waves, hitting your ears at a certain frequency. That's what it is. This is where I notice where people get lost. Obviously. I'm aware of that. This is where the conversation derails into frustration and bad faith. They want language to operate much like a math problem with equal rules for everyone, a neat equation where input equals output regardless of context. That's how math works, that's how language works, but language does not work that way. Language operates like culture, memory, and power layered on top of each other, sedimentary and complex. A word does not mean the same thing coming from every mouth, because mouths come attached to histories, attached to bodies that have been treated differently by the world, attached to ancestors who heard that word in context that range from casual cruelty to mortal threat. That's what it is. You can't pretend it doesn't. Context matters. You can't pretend it doesn't matter. You can't flatten reality into something comfortable but dishonest. Makes the conversation easier, right? Easier. Everybody should say it. It's just a word. Easy. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Oh, I'm so happy you say that. Oh, words. Why are you getting so upset by a word? At the highest level of power in the world, words are the only way to fight. Words are the only way to demean, to shame, to get progress done. Words written on paper, legislation written into law. Words are the very things that segregate communities. Words are the very power of the world. Words have so much power, it is disgusting. A nuke or a gun or a weapon has significantly less power than legislation meant to slowly destroy and whittle down the spirits of thousands of nation states. That's what it is. Some people argue that if everyone simply stopped saying the word, if we all just agree to let it die, it would disappear. Let the silence erase your trauma. Ignore the scar, and the body will heal underneath. This is deeply wishful thinking, and I appreciate it. Words do not vanish just because you close your eyes. They fade only when the conditions that gave them power lose relevance, when the structures that made them weapons crumble, when the wounds they described no longer ache. That process does not happen by decree. It does not happen by collective agreement to pretend. It happens through time, through struggle, through change that is slow and uneven and often invisible until suddenly it isn't. Oh, it isn't. The taboo itself is part of the problem and part of the solution at the exact same time, which is a very uncomfortable paradox of the N-word. Taboo teaches respect when it is understood, when it is felt as boundary that protects rather than excludes, but taboo teaches resentment when it is challenged without context, when it is experienced as arbitrary restriction rather than living memory. For people outside the black community, the restriction feels unfair. What? What was I? I didn't own slaves. I'm not racist. Why can't I say the word? It's so cool. Fairness without context is abstraction. Abstraction is how harm gets repeated while everyone claims innocence. While everyone says, but I didn't mean it that way, meaning is not the only thing that matters in this context. It's not. Some people are not drawn to words out of curiosity, right? Especially this word. Or rebellion, or intellectual interest in linguistic boundaries. They are drawn to it out of a desire to feel power through offense. Some people just say it because I can say whatever I want to. I'm a real guy. And I grew up around black people. I can say whatever I want to. Cool. Saying something you know hurts someone can feel like control when you lack it elsewhere in your life. And you're a bully, and that's fine. That's cool. That's good. That urge has nothing to do with free speech. Nothing to do with honesty, nothing to do with any of the noble frameworks people use to justify it. It has everything to do with dominance, with the small thrill of causing discomfort without consequence, because legally you can say it, right? It's the feeling of being able to wound up and call it debate. I'm going to debate it. I'm going to debate this, right? Pretending that urge is harmless, pretending it deserves the same consideration as genuine curiosity, is insane. It's genuinely insane. I think every white person should say the N-word right now. That's what I think. I think every white person, every white celebrity, all of them should say the N-word. I want them all to say it. I want them all to say it at once. I want to see what happens. I just want to see some chaos for a little bit. Because naturally, I lack a little bit of control in my life and I'm a little bit chaotic. I want to see what happens. I want to see what happens to the world. I want to see how they feel about it. Imagine if everybody said it at once. Everybody just started freely dropping a word. They can't fire all of us. I'm just curious what happens. Just curious. Bring the word back and see how people react to it. I want to see the anger and hate and vitriol. I want to see how people use it because I know they're going to use it wrong. This is disgusting. Mature engagement with language, with history, with other people's humanity requires sitting with boundaries that you can't redefine. You can't do that. You have to understand that some doors are not locked to tease you. They're not locked to exclude you from something you deserved. They're locked to protect you, or more so to protect what is inside. The N-word exists in that space. Reclaimed where it belongs, restricted where it harms, and surrounded by tension precisely because it forces people to confront how history, power, and desire intersect in ways that do not offer clean, universal answers that work for everyone equally. That's the N-word. But I've been to McDonald's before. I've been to Burger King. I've had my Arby's. There's a hunger. Well, I know there's hunger. A hunger that runs beneath the words and the arguments and the hot takes. A hunger that comes from generations of having nothing stable to grab onto. No institutional protection that couldn't be revoked. No cultural ownership that was respected by a larger society. No guarantee that tomorrow would not undo whatever progress was made today. When you are denied land, denied safety, denied credit, denied legal protection, denied history that is told honestly in textbooks, you look for something that cannot be taken as easily. Something that lives in language and culture and rhythm and humor and expression. And the way you nod at a stranger who shares something unnameable with you. Those things survive even when everything else is stripped away. They survive because they are portable. Because they live in bodies and voices and the spaces between people who understand without explanation. That's Black America, by the way. For a long time in America, Black Americans were not allowed the luxury of abstract identity. Probably don't know what that means. We were not allowed to be individuals in the way that word is usually understood. See, survival in black communities demanded unity, demanded cohesion, and demanded an understanding that fracture meant vulnerability, that standing alone in a hostile system is how people disappear quietly. That unity did not form because it was trendy or vibey or whatever you want to use. It did not form because it was politically convenient. It did not form because someone decided it would be aesthetically pleasing. It was isolation. Isolation is dangerous. The difference between surviving and not surviving was often the difference between having people who would fight for you and having no one at all. Solidarity is not a choice for black people. It is not. It has never been a choice. It's not a lifestyle brand. It's a survival mechanism. It is passed down like recipes, like warning, like knowledge of which herbs heal and which herbs kill. That is the power embedded in the solidarity of black people. You go on Twitter and you see a bunch of black people all having a conversation and you don't understand the words they're saying. What does wolf ticket mean? What is this AAVE? I've never heard of it before. And you may hear a black man like me speaking and you may say, well, actually, you sound a little white to me. And you may use that to discredit my blackness. But I get stopped by the cops all the same. I live in Detroit. Nothing gonna change the way I go. Nothing gonna change the way I flow. Nothing's gonna stop the way I move. Nothing's gonna stop my rhythm. Nothing gonna stop my tism. Nothing's happening that way. The first time in American history, in any meaningful way, the solidarity of black people is real. It's visible societal leverage and it's attached to it. And that shift makes people uncomfortable. People understand that if you insult a black person, the entire way of the black community will come down on you. So what happens? When black people act collectively, speak collectively, and draw boundaries collectively, they think it's a threat. Because you guys don't have any solidarity. You guys never had the reason to. You guys didn't have a reason to have white solidarity. You guys didn't have a reason to do that. And when you do have white solidarity, it's rooted in hate. Oh, we all hate the same thing. Nope. Black people, we all love the same thing. We all love each other. We love black love. Well, white power. No, black love. Difference. Understand the difference between those two things. I'm not saying I hate being white. You should love your skin. You should love who you are. You should love your history. You should love your culture. But you're not white. You're Slavic. You're Nordic. You're Italian. You're Armenian. You're Sicilian. I know you are. You're a Geet. You're a Viking, right? Isn't that what you are? You're not white. Obviously, you're not white. Share that black history. I'm African, man. I got blackness in my DNA. I don't have just 200 years of history. I got thousands of years of history. That's what I got. That's what you got too. But you don't want to live in that. You want to live in your hate. You want to say the word because you think I need the word because I don't have anything. So you try to take it from us. Try to take the word back after we tried to reclaim it. We tried to take something that you gave to us as an insult. You tried to destroy us with it and we made it powerful and you want it back because all you know how to do is take. All you know how to do is take. And that's insane. That is insane. And that's why solidarity works. It works. It works because it breaks a long-standing expectation that black voices should remain fragmented, diluted, and individually manageable. The expectation was always that we would be easier to handle one at a time. Easier to dismiss, easier to absorb without changing the structure. Collective action, collective voice, collective boundaries. These disrupt that expectation in ways that feel destabilizing to people who never had to think about it before. That's why black people are so strong together. We strong together. What we are. Black people, about 13% of the American population is what we are. Not the world population, just the American population. We're a small number here. But our small number makes motions. We do this. And what scares people, really gets under the skin, is not the demographic size. It is not the number of bodies. We have momentum. We have motion. It's the ability of a group to set terms, to define lines, to say this is ours. And have that statement carry weight in the culture and institutions and the way people talk and think and move through the world. When black communities decide something matters, whether it is language, culture, justice, or boundaries, that decision ripples outwards because it is reinforced socially, emotionally, culturally across millions of people who recognize themselves in one another. We share enough history to feel the same gravity. That is black people. And I know you're confused, especially if you're not black. You may be confused, may feel sudden, maybe even unfair. It is not new to black Americans. It is not. We are finally acknowledged, finally difficult to ignore or explain away. For generations, that same unity existed without leverage, without microphones, without legal recourse, without platforms that reached beyond the neighborhood. It existed in church basements and barbershops and kitchen tables where people planned and prayed and hoped for something different. Now that it can actually move institutions, change narratives, and force accountability, it is treated as excessive instead of earned, as threatening instead of this hard-won thing that we fought for. We as a people fought for. Not me personally, but we as a people, collectively, together. I am reaping the benefits of my ancestors in the same way that you reap the benefits of your ancestors. That's what's happening. My benefit is solidarity and unity with my people and every one of them that I see. Your benefit is something different. It's institutional. It's different. We have differences. That does not make us lesser or greater. We're just different. Understand that. I do not hate you, my brother. I do not hate you, my fellow human. I don't hate you. But you hate me. I don't know why. That's what I discovered through all my years, my tenure of this life. What people are really reacting to. Underneath all the arguments about words and statistics and who can say what, is the idea that black people no longer need permission to define meaning, value, or limits in their lives. Because those definitions are now backed by collective will and cultural force that cannot easily be dismissed. That scares people who are used to power being able to destroy groups. That's what they're used to. It scares people who prefer the old arrangement where boundaries were suggestions and history. We don't care about history. That's a little optional. It signals a future where influence in general is not handed down quietly, not granted by those who have always held it. It's asserted openly, reinforced by solidarity, and protected by the memory of what happened when unity is lost. So, the N-word is a bonding glue amongst black people. And I hope that you at least understand the nuance behind the word at least a little bit more. If not, that's fine. You can still say it. I can't stop you. Maybe someone else can. I'm just a guy using my words. And hopefully my words have a little power to you, to at least shake you in some way or move you in some way. If not, that's perfectly fine. I hope with my whole body and chest that you have a lovely and wonderful day. I want to leave you with these words, if I may. The most powerful thing that I've ever heard someone say to me was, I don't know what I'm going to be tomorrow, but today I'm going to be amazing. And I hope that you can be amazing for everybody around you and for yourself today. Have a lovely day or night wherever you're at. I'm out. Peace. Bye.
I'm your Nick and night, be my Laurel. Happy to try what you need. Your world, I love to live in it. I love the ride.